Gatwick's over to my right hand side. Don't fly into Gatwick. Don't fly into Gatwick.
November 4 Mike Whiskey, just caution, London City Zone south of you by about a mile and a half.
Oh, okay. We can take a right shortly and go overhead to QE2.
4 Mike Whiskey, thank you.
Yes, come on, Steph. You're doing it. You're doing it.
This station is London St Pancras International.
Today's video is going to be a story about confidence, having too much of it or too little of it. Basically, it's a story all about flying and confidence. Brighton Pier.
Going to go around Heathrow, not through Heathrow. Apparently that's frowned upon in these parts of the world. And November 774 Mike Whiskey, run-up's complete. We're ready for departure. It'll be downwind VFR, climbing 2,300.
And 4 Mike Whiskey, roger, taxi holding point Bravo.
Taxi holding point Bravo, 4 for Mike Whiskey. 774 Mike Whiskey. I've had to write down the new registration of this aircraft on a post-it note here because I'm clearly going to forget it otherwise.
Now, November 744 Mike Whiskey is a Cirrus SR22 Turbo, which was kindly organised by my friend Philippe. You know Philippe, the one who I flew to Iceland with last week?
If it does work. Yeah, that was all right actually. It's like he was in the plane with us.
I'd asked Philippe if he could organise an aircraft for me for the next couple of days because I have 3 days here in the UK before I fly back to Australia, and I wanted to try and just do some general aviation flying, but really try and build my confidence of flying in UK airspace, something I have done before, but never solo. I've done it as pilot in command, but always with someone sitting next to me in the right seat. So today was like a really big deal for me.
And can I just confirm that is Farnborough 132.8 after this?
A firm.
Thank you, mate. Alright, full power.
Right, okay, Sierra, 3 call Stansford, good day.
Temperature pressures are green. Airspeed's increasing on both.
Go Alpha Hotel, final 26.
Up we go.
Golf Alpha Hotel, runway 26, touch and go, your discretion, the instant wind 310 degrees, 7 knots.
Alright, let's try Farnborough radar. This is the first time I'm going to ask for one of these basic service things, or traffic service maybe. Farnborough radar, November 774 Mike Whiskey.
November 774 Mike Whiskey, Farnborough radar, good morning, pass details.
Good morning, November 774 Mike Whiskey. We are a Cirrus SR22 VFR just out of Elstree, 1,500, tracking eastbound, remaining outside class controlled airspace, but just request a basic service if available.
And November 4 Mike Whiskey, sorry, was it Elstree to Elstree?
Oh, negative, apologies. It's Elstree to Shoreham on the south coast.
November 4 Mike Whiskey, roger, Squawk 5020, basic service, London QNH 1010.
5020 on 1010 for November 774 Mike Whiskey, and actually if available, is a traffic service available?
Number 4 Mike Whiskey, identified, traffic service.
Traffic service for Mike Whiskey, thank you.
It will be reduced traffic information due to your level, possible late warning of traffic from below. There is activity in the Stapleford circuit, just keep a good look at as you go. I guess you're going to go just to the south of that.
Copy that, we are going south of Stapleford and I'll keep an eye out. Thank you, 774 Mike Whiskey. We're doing it. We're flying solo in the UK.
The flight I'd planned was a really simple VFR low-level flight from Elstree down here to Brighton. I was originally going to go a little bit more around the southeast of England, but as it turned out, because the weather was so bad on the ground in the morning, I think the cloud base was about 800 feet broken when I first got to the airport. I decided to wait, so I sat there doing a bit of flight planning, waited a little bit longer, and it was only about 2.5 hours later after getting to the airport that I actually saw there was going to be a bit of a break in the weather. The cloud base had lifted a little bit, just enough to depart VFR. Now, Philippe was down in Biggin Hill at the time, and he gave me a bit of a weather update from down there. He said that the clouds were lifting a little bit, and I want to read out the text message that he sent me. He knew that I just was lacking the confidence to actually go ahead and do it, and he sent me that.
I'm so freaked out about not wanting to bust airspace. Banbury Reservoir must be that reservoir over there. I'm a little bit off, so let's go towards that.
November 4 Mike Whiskey. Just caution the London City zone south of you by about a mile and a half.
Copy that, yeah, we just turned into Banbury and then we're going to track away from the zone now. Thank you. 4 Mike Whiskey.
No problem. Police rotary leaving the zone southeast of you by about 2 miles, tracking northbound slightly below.
Traffic sight here for Mike Whiskey. Oh, okay. So London to my right, another airfield to my left. Literally stuck in the middle of the two of them, but I'm going to make a right turn shortly and head...
November 4 Mike Whiskey. Are you roughly going to be following the M25 round across the QE2 down to Shoreham that way?
Firm, that's right. We're going to take a right shortly and go overhead to QE2, 4 Mike Whiskey. So it's the right place to turn? Yeah, it's the right place to turn. Fun thing about the QE2 bridge is I went to school in Dartford. I remember when they built that. It was only the Dartford Tunnel. I see it straight ahead, that's cool. It was only the Dartford Tunnel when I was growing up in the UK, but then they built the QE2 bridge. I remember when it opened actually, and now I'm using it as a navigation aid to make sure that I don't bust London's airspace. So I'm guessing the LARS is like we have an area frequency in Australia where we can just talk to them and let them know what we're doing. But I think there's more assistance here in the UK. I actually think it's quite good, these LARS services, because like now I've got a traffic service, so as long as he can see the other pings, he can help me manoeuvre away from traffic. He's not separating me from the other traffic like you would IFR in controlled airspace, but it's actually really good to have that extra pair of eyes on me. From what I understand, and let me know in the comments for all you pilots that fly in the UK, I don't think you need to talk to anyone because we're in uncontrolled airspace now. But having that person there to talk to, I kind of like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that? Wow, and over to my right hand side, if you can see that, that's London, City of London. I actually get quite close coming across this way. We should be flying over Brands Hatch pretty soon, which is close to where I used to live around here in Kent, in this area of Kent, near a place, a very small town called Otford, if you know it. It's like Graham Hill Bend, I think I can see it up ahead. Yeah, so that's Brands Hatch. I used to spend a lot of my time down here watching the motorsport. I think that's why I've got such a love for Formula One now. I used to come down to Brands Hatch. That's where I kind of cut my teeth with my motorsport love. They got some sort of motorcycling, I think, that's going on at the moment. It's a MotoGP style. Do a fuel tank change. Done. It's really easy in the turbo. I don't need to play around with the mixture so much, and the fuel pump I just keep on all the time. So things like fuel tank changes are literally, for me, it would be fuel pump on, switch the tank, fuel pump off, maybe have to lean the engine out again. With this, it's just quite a lot of traffic around the UK now. There's quite a bit of IFR above me, which is good because that's all above the clouds. But not many of us just trying to get underneath the clouds. My aim, by the way, is I'm trying to get to the south coast. I'd like to get down to the south coast, fly along it, and apparently there's an airfield called Shoreham, which if you fly in the UK, I'm sure every pilot at some point has landed at Shoreham, but apparently it's supposed to be very nice. And so I thought I would go and check it out. Gatwick. Gatwick's over to my right-hand side. Even though I've flown in the UK before with people, and obviously I've flown in Australia solo a lot, and in some other countries overseas, this is the first time I've ever flown as pilot in command and solo with no one next to me in my old home country of England. This is quite a big deal for me. And of course we've got bad weather coming up ahead.
When it comes to confidence, I can normally precede it with 3 different words when it comes to me, my personality and my flying. I can either be suffering from overconfidence, or on good days, I can have a degree of self-confidence. But on today's flight, because the airspace was unfamiliar, because I'd had the weather delay beforehand, because the aircraft was brand new, things started building up on me. Maybe the anxiety and the stress got to me a little bit. And on this scale, well, I kind of ended up more down here.
November 774 Mike Whiskey, at what point would you like me to switch over to Shoreham approach?
Up to you, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'm just getting used to the UK airspace, so I'll let you know when I switch over.
Just beware, you've got opposite direction traffic, just departed them, about 8 miles, same level.
Got them on TCAS, but I'll keep an eye out, thank you. 774 Mike Whiskey.
4 Mike Whiskey, it depends. Some people go really late, some people go really early, it just depends on the pilot usually, so unless you're doing a particular type of approach, then it's up to you really.
Okay, understood, thank you for the advice, I appreciate that.
4 Mike Whiskey, that traffic is now left at 9 o'clock, 2 miles left to right, same level.
Looking for traffic, still got them on TCAS. 774 Mike Whiskey. And November 774 Mike Whiskey, switching to Shoreham approach 123155.
November 4 Mike Whiskey, that's traffic well behind you now, nothing else seen. Service terminates, squawk conspicuity, bye.
Conspicuity, Wilco, thanks for your help, mate. 774 Mike Whiskey. Shoreham approach, November 774 Mike Whiskey.
November 774 Mike Whiskey, Shoreham, good afternoon, pass your message.
November 774 Mike Whiskey, VFR Cirrus SR22 from Elstree. We are now 8 miles to your northeast, 1,400 inbound. Unfamiliar with aerodrome, request joining instructions.
November 4 Mike Whiskey, that's understood, thank you. It's a basic service, that's squawk 3763.
Basic service and 3763 for Mike Whiskey.
Number 4 Mike Whiskey, from your present position, make a straight-in approach, runway 20, and report on a 4-mile final.
Straight in approach 20 and we'll report 4 miles, 774 Mike Whiskey, thanks. Oh, aerodrome in sight, how good is that? And November 774 Mike Whiskey, 4 miles, straight in 20.
Number 4 Mike Whiskey, runway 20, the wind 220 degrees 11 knots, clear to land.
Runway 20, clear to land, 774 Mike Whiskey. And just confirming that's the asphalt runway, correct?
Number 4 Mike Whiskey, it's the hard runway 20.
Thank you. Alright, Shoreham.
Okay, this could be my new favourite airport of all time, actually. Even though it's called Shoreham on the radio, this is also still technically known as East Brighton Airport, and as well as general aviation people like me coming in and out of here, there's also some, I think it's probably not charter, it's probably RPT transport. Air Alderney is one of them, never heard of them before, but their logo's got a freaking puffin on it. So I think the thing about confidence is it's all right to be in any of those 3 zones, but you don't want to sit in those 3 areas for too long. For example, a little bit of overconfidence can give you sometimes the courage to go out and do something you otherwise might not, but if you're overconfident all the time, I think you could get into some problems in the same way that if you lack confidence, sometimes that's not a bad thing because maybe you'll be more extra cautious about something you would have otherwise gone ahead and done, but if you lack confidence all the time, you're never going to achieve anything. And even if you feel self-confident in every single thing you do, with self-confidence sometimes comes complacence. I think with confidence, it really comes down to just be aware of where you are and always realise that whatever your level of confidence is, it can be changed through education and experience, like flying here to Brighton today. I feel really proud that I'm here, and I flew here myself. I think my confidence has gone up a little. Happy with that.